4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey everybody, welcome. Hi, glad you could be here. It's Monday. It's I think a bunch of Steph heads coming on over. Hopefully some of you joined us. Gather round, settle in. It's I don't have ads, so this is a much smoother kind of like ease you into your day, After your hot news injection you got from Steph, you can come on over here and we just kind of ease into what's trendages. And we even say hi to the chat room. There you are. Hold on one second. I'm going to move you guys down here. Hello. Yay. What's up? Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, all that stuff that everybody tells you to do. If you're on Twitch, subscribe there, at least follow, blah, blah, blah. I'm terrible at that stuff, but I try. I'm doing my level best as a person who is often a big fan of just letting talent speak for itself. This is why a lot of times talent has agents, because we're terrible at that, and it doesn't work that way. Anyways, okay, so lots going on this morning. Hello, hi, what's happening? No hair fix. Yeah, my hair's up because I just came from the other show and I was traveling and stuff. I'll put it down for the afternoon if you would like. Huh? The Facebook interrupts you with ads. Yeah, but I can't do it. That's also one of the things. Also, I don't do, I don't speak ads on my show and that kind of, because I can't do that. It's just whatever. Anyway, so support the show if you can. If you can't, that's fine. Hi, everybody. Soft ease into hell out of step. That's true. Just good. Groovy. I feel like I'm being pushy. You guys need to ease into it, baby. Just settle in. We had a big fart gun battle. I've introduced Chewbacca as the sound of Chris Lavoie's penis when apparently he whips it out in studio. We learned so much and yet grew so little. And I think that's the important thing. Because what you really want is to be a busy treadmill. Yes, it was a battle of the fart guns. Some saw it. Some people, it'll just be a legend they have to live with. That's my thought. 14 eggs. Oh, wow, really? Halloween 1995 plus shipping and handling, yes. But wait, there's more. Thanks for asking. My holiday weekend was lovely. My kid has a bit of a tickle cough. So my nights were full of torment, listening to him cough and try to go to sleep, poor thing. And he was just, on one of the days, he was just exhausted from it. But kids got to grow an immune system, so you're not going to skip that stuff. God knows I had it. At his age, I was telling him when he was feeling fairly awful, because he wasn't stuffed up, didn't have a headache. It was just linger, I had scarlet fever when I was 9, and my face swelled up just like 2 balloons, and I had a rash all over myself. It was just, ugh. And I remember the period of just thinking I'm going to explode. It was really strange, and having a genuine fever for several days. And I was like, your body develops a resilience. We just got to make sure you get through it. I think, and I'm curious how you guys feel about this. Yeah, when your kid is sick, it's just, Hal in a remake of Kool and Luke. We can make that happen. Yeah, allergy colds. And it's weird when it happens around the part of the year when people are eating the most sugar and the most baked goods. I'm just throwing that out there. No, we don't use a rectal thermometer in my family except for sport. So the creeping crud is rough. Yeah. His was like a dry, non-productive cough too. So it was that recurring tickle, which is really aggravating. But anyways, this period of the holidays and everything, you hope that everybody's on board and having, a good time, but then, weather, sickness, those kind of things kind of throw a monkey wrench into the whole thing and add another layer to it. And yet at the same time, you guys know that I've said, and I believe this, is that the secret to happiness in life is finding the joy in the things you cannot change. That there are things, thank you, Kathy, there are things in life that you can't skip. You just, not yet anyways. At some point in the future, maybe. But there are just, bad weather, bad relationships, bad colds, a lot of that stuff. You just can't skip it. It's just going to happen to you in life so that you can learn, in theory, how to deal with it when it comes up again and not have it happen again, right? Yes, everybody does need to be in the live chat. I agree. Just say hi. If you're just watching, just go, hello, and that's fine. Also subscribe. Anyways, so, I believe in going, okay, not only what is the part where you get through it, that you're just like, oh, well, we soldiered through it. But what's the joyful part of it? What's the high? What's the part of it that actually is a silver lining? And one of them is, in this particular case, is that my son is developing an immune system, as kids do, because they have to get infections, and that's just life. That's just how it works. And so to be able to sit there with him through it and pet his head and make sure he has, Gatorade and broth and cough medicine if he needs it, and let those moments where I can let him know I'm there for him and I'll take care of him. And his mom does the same thing. But while it's painful to have my kid be sick, and while it's sad, the joyful part is that this is a possibility, that I'm able to be there with him, right? And the stuff you can't take for granted in that. A lot of people don't have that. And a lot of people, they have the worst person seeing them through it, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, exactly, Teresa. Yeah. So Tony says hello from Portland. Now, stop it, Tony. There is no Portland. We know that. Portland was burned down. Didn't you hear Trump? Portland was burned down 2 years ago. It doesn't exist. Kids should eat more dirt. Well, they should get more dirt on them and around them. Eating it's not necessarily a bad thing, but a little in your mouth every so often isn't a bad thing. If you keep doing it when you're an adult, that's up to you. Again, I'm not here to yuck your yum. You want the dancing pickle? Oh, well, that's we got to get to hype trains. Dancing pickle time. That's on Twitch for people who don't understand that. Yeah, rip Portland. So sad. You heard there's trouble in Portland? No, there's no trouble in Portland. Portland doesn't exist anymore. You can't, 0 times 1,000 is 0. So Portland is rebuilding. Phooey. I don't believe it. None of us. So none of us here believe that. So again, when those things come up, I would like to recommend to everybody, and I can still see the chat. I'm just going to pause it so you guys aren't like, if stuff comes up if you have a difficult relative that comes over or any of that stuff, remember that the difficulty itself that you're experiencing is only 10% of your experiential life in reality. Because you're not thinking about eating and sleeping and going to the bathroom and friends and work and blah, 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 blah. You're really focused on this thing. A lot of people tend to do that, especially when they catastrophize about stuff. And so if you're bonding with another relative about your difficult relative, the important part of that exchange is the bond with the other relative, which you people have a tendency to take for granted in that moment. Okay? So that's my advice. And it's worked out pretty well so far. So there you go. Morning, sparklers. Morning to everybody. Shit, I always spell Philip with 2 L's. I know, my uncle's name is Philip, and I do the same thing. But yes, we will be having a full report this afternoon on who I've sent out. Hey, you guys need to talk to Philip Bittner about, and I want to hear back from everybody else as well. If you guys have contacted anybody so far or tweeted them or anything, let me know in the chat right now, so I'll be able to see that. And thank you for doing that. If you're new or you don't know what we're talking about, my dear friend Philip Bittner is in Kiev right now. He's been reporting from there on my show and others, and I've been doing my best to get his voice out there and let him be heard by having him be on my Wednesday show and my radio show on Saturdays. And we're trying to get him out to an even bigger crowd of podcasters and influencers and the like, so that message from there can be heard. So yeah, that's what's going on. Trump called Kanye West, says Ye is unstable. Yeah, but I mean, pot kettle calling line 2. If I know someone else is crazy, that means I'm not crazy. Doesn't work that way, stupid. So, hi, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We love it. I called Jimmy, but he closed the door. You think? He's got to have on Aaron Mate and Scott Ritter again to tell everybody how Russia's really winning. Because that's how it works. I can't take a call right now. I'm busy. Anyways, love you guys and thanks. It's a terrible impression, actually. It's fine. I don't want to talk about it. Still my team love the Seahawks. Oh, you mean Seattle? Seattle doesn't exist either. There is no Seattle. According to Malcolm Nance, they are. Who? Malcolm Nance doesn't think Russia's winning. Being nice to Nazis never pays. What about people who, like Germans during World War II, who were forced to acquiesce to the Nazi Party, but didn't believe them themselves, but if they spoke out against it, would be killed internally, and they didn't fight for the Nazi Party, but they didn't say anything because they were just trying to get through this period and not die. There's a lot of that going on in China right now, and I feel for the people there, but they're not to blame for the situation that they're kind of surrounded by because it turned while they were there without anybody asking their opinion. And in Nazism, it was the same thing. Although those people would be called Nazis by other people, that does not necessarily mean that they are. So I guess it's a semantic argument. Never mind. Yes, please. There you go. Thanks, Can't Stop Lying. So there's Philip's Twitter. If you guys want to share that out while Twitter still exists. Monday is a huge troll day. It is true. I read a book called Backing Hitler by Galilei Sparks. Is that Elizabeth? Is that referring to just that phenomenon during Nazi Germany? That some people supported it and other people were like, yeah, I'm totally on Team Hitler. What time does the train leave? There's a lot of that going on with Putin as well right now. People are like, yes, we support the war. Meanwhile, where's our 18-year-old son? Well, he's not in a car headed for the Georgian border, I'll tell you that. What? Where is he? Thanks, Francie. I was very worried that I was crossing the radio line. I was like, how many times technically can we say penis before we get into trouble? Luckily, in live streaming, I can say cack and nobody cares. Crank. I prefer crank as a comedy word for penis. I will say, it blazes past most censorship rules. It's funny. It sounds like you go ow, ow, which is even funnier. So yeah, crank is your schmeck. See, schmeckel that's a Yiddish term. That will be seen as an actual term from another language that gets through. Johnson, right? Well, whenever talking about Ron, anyways. Is it weird that I'm listening on mute? Yes, it's very weird. What? Oh, you're muted. No. How it was important last week. It reminds me of post-World War II destruction. Yeah, it's so sad, Bill. It's so sad. It's just a big crater. There is no Portland anymore. It's just... And now I just got Tallywhacker Schlong. Isn't it lovely nice to have a penis? Isn't it terribly nice to have a dong? It's divine to own a stiffy. It's... Sorry. No, it's great to own a stiffy. It's divine to own a dick. From the world's smallest tadger to the world's largest prick. So, hooray for your Roger or John Thomas. Prink. Right. 3 cheers for your one-eyed trouser snake. Your piece of pork, your wife's best friend, your pussy or your cock. You can put it in your pants, or you can slip it in your sock, but if you take it out in public, they will put you in the dock, and you won't come back. It's been a long time. One of the greatest Eric Idle songs ever, and that's saying a lot. Yes. 3 cheers for your Willie or John Thomas. Yes, trend time. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see what's trending over there on the Twitter machine while it still lives. Don Lemon, obviously this is going to be right-wingers, I guess. saying, oh, he's lying and he's lying. Don Lemon went for the jugular this morning. Okay, maybe. And Len Kordofsky, former Deputy Assistant Secretary under Trump, who is Jewish, actually say Trump shouldn't... he made him say he shouldn't have met with anti-Semites. Okay, so that was this segment right here. Yeah, and then there's this dude. There's Seattle. That's the airport. The city's gone. By the way, even this dude was doing one of the things that the Q Republicans always do all the time. This is Nazi Germany. We live in Nazi Germany. You're the Nazi. You're the Nazi. Like, that's the kind of stuff where they do the Sieg Heil because they're saying because you're making me not smoke on an airplane, that kind of stuff. This is Nazi Germany. That kind of nonsense. Not that I don't think they actually believe it, but that's why they think they can get away with it in public. Kanye West just said white supremacist Nick Fuentes is tweeting from his account. Bigots like West. Oh, that's lovely. Donald should be fired. Look at Richard Grinnell. Should be fired from CNN immediately. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And it isn't journalism, stupid. Of course it's not journalism. He's an anchor man. He's a television news opinion personality. And Jesus Christ, that's why they reference the news. None of these people are doing reports. None of these folks, you'll never see Don Lemon reports now that he's in that seat unless he leaves CNN and forms his own podcast. Oh dear, Hobby Lobby, because we're talking about the Alito leak. Yeah. Let's go to the latest on this because it'll just be for the... if you shop at Hobby Lobby, Chick-fil-A, you don't support women's rights or LGBTQ, which is a big based, going to have trip. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that just makes a bunch of people go, I love that place and I'm only going to shop there. Abort Abbott, ouch. Shop at Hobby Lobby, we don't even have to move the F-250 to eat at Chick-fil-A. Good for you. Says pretty good guy who's like, yeah. I just get on here to own the libs. But the big story is obviously that the Hobby Lobby story is coming out about him. And I don't even know why they call this a leak. Because he apparently mentioned it over fucking breakfast. With this, religious fanatic couple that, is hooked up to the evangelical world. And they were eating with him, and he was like, yeah, we're totally going to kill that next week. Like, he was just chit-chatting about it. It wasn't even a leak. It's not like somebody... You have this... When somebody talks about leaking something, it's either a clandestine phone call or somebody being slipped a document under a table. You know what I mean? This isn't that. This is just him Anyway, so we're totally going to kill women's rights. We just got to get around to it. That one case you were talking to me about? Yeah, we covered that. That's going to happen in the next week. I don't know. Just to check, thanks. We're skipping dessert. We're going to this. Chick-fil-A has these chicken butter muffin things with icing on them. It's just masturbatory. We're going there after. You guys up for it? Let's go. Again, calling it a leak when he just blabbed is a little weird. I love Hobby Lobby. It's 10,000%. It's a great store. Well, she's great at math. I will give her that. Amazon Smile is trending because it's Cyber Monday, and if you use Amazon Smile, you can give to a charity as part of the profits from it, which is great. My Amazon Smile is for the Wild Horse Ranch Rescue in Arizona. If you don't have Amazon Smile on yours, that would be one of my recommendations. Just throwing that out there, Wild Horse Ranch Rescue. You can add it to that, and then it'll give anything you buy on Amazon, it gives a little bit. Give a little bit to Wild Horse Ranch Rescue and the lovely folks in Arizona that save American wild horses and police and military horses that have outlived their usefulness, and even horses that were put out to stud and then, abandoned. They keep them alive and healthy and the like so that they're not turned into dog food in Mexico and other places. So it's a lovely thing, and There's a lot you can do for them, but that's one of the easiest. Just saying. Yeah. Get on Satan's nice little whatever. Anyway, so that's pretty much how that system works, and it beats the alternative. If you're going to use it, you might as well use that all the time. And by the way, it's not Amazon in Canada has an Amazon Smile too. It's site wide, and this is a big one. Mauna Loa erupted. The world's biggest volcano erupted. Oh my God! It's a Dark Brandon speech. Somebody needs to cut like Joe Biden in from his red speech over that. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it later. I mean, this is supposedly right now, it's not endangering any communities. Yeah, midnight. There you go, Hawaiian Standard Time. Yeah, that's some lava, baby. Look at that. Woo. World's largest active volcano has started to erupt in Hawaii for the first time since 1984. It's a good year for it. I remember that one. Yeah, you come home and the volcano erupts, that says it all. Right. I honestly, how is it as humans that we have not figured out how to set up energy systems that draw energy from constantly rumbling volcanoes? I mean, obviously a volcanic eruption is hard to rein in because you don't know when it's going to happen. But there are a lot of them that constantly produce heat, constantly produce lava. It would seem like you could capture some of that with like temporary rigs that aren't that expensive, and the energy you get from it would be, worth more than if the rig got destroyed if there was an eruption. Just saying. Why the electricity in Hawaii doesn't, benefit from volcanic activity all the time, even if it's just a giant geothermal spike they put in. Oop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. That's the eruption pop. Or is that the weather over it? Large active volcano in the world has erupted. Yep, there it is. Yeah, that's the eruption happening when it actually burst. At the summit, alert level has been raised, red warning. You think? Ooh, yeah, that's a crazy view. You can understand why tribes were like, that looks bad. Chuck her in there. Look, if the volcano wants anything, it's her, because I want her with that kind of energy, if you know what I'm saying. So it's best if she's not around. So we should just probably throw her in. Him too. What does that say about me? None of your goddamn business. Just chuck them in before they're no longer virgins anymore and the volcano doesn't like us. It's time to watch Joe versus the volcano again. Take me to the volcano. Mm-hmm. View from Saddle Road to the lava. Yeah, that's a big deal. Hopefully it doesn't, have a big burst eruption and just kind of leaks like that for a while. Oh no. Diet Coke button? Are we going straight to Elon Musk on his way to buy some Diet Coke? What? Oh, this is his bedside table. 2 guns and 3 cans of Diet Coke and a bottle of water and a little, Skexis butt plug. And look at all the rings. Dude, get a coaster. Or at least invent a surface that doesn't stain like that. Really? I think that's trolling, but whatever. Who the fuck drinks caffeine-free Diet Coke and brags about it? Exactly. Well, I mean, obviously, he's on stimulants, so he doesn't need it. I'm not kidding. That's TV's Jordan is asking that question. I'm here to tell you the reason is because he takes probably time release caffeine in pill form and Adderall or, in any number of like the MDAMs or whatever that the FTX guy was taking. Do you guys know about that shit? Hold on. Let me see if I can find IVF MDAMs, is that what it's called? MDAMs? That's right. FTX Maybe it's in the news for it. The dude who, where is it? Let's see. Yep. All right. It's not going to be in there. Oh. Heh. I didn't realize there was now a Procera launches an XTF for focused. The dude, there's this stimulant that comes in patch form for people with like really bad narcolepsy or even Parkinson's, and you wear it. It's like 24 hours or whatever. The guy from the big crypto company that that's been making all these like weird choices and got basically flatlined the entire company, billions in debt through all this risky BS. One of the side effects of those kind of those kind of drugs is you become less risk averse. You ever seen one of those ads where they say this might cause you to start gambling or fucking around, right? Those like side effects may include gambling addiction and being a rampant slut. Well, that's because it affects the part of your brain that's risk averse or that pushes back on it's fine, the screw it, let's do it gene or whatever gets muted by that. And a lot of the focus drugs and a lot of those things, they do get rid of those things because they're kind of uniform in their chemistry. And if you're on those kind of things, you can't drink a bunch of caffeine because you will give yourself a heart attack. Yeah. The gun is a 3D printed prop from Deus Ex. I think it's actually one of the 357s or whatever that's out there. I want to say I saw the guys on Demolition Farm or whatever their show is shoot those. Daytrana. Is that the patch you're talking about? Okay, because there's other ones as well. But the idea is that if you take Ritalin, it's part of my theory that Ritalin makes you racist, and it goes like this: focus, if you lack it, can sometimes be helped, I guess, by medication. The problem is if there is a description of bigotry or racism, or even confirmation bias as a function of thought, it's hyper focus to the exclusion of all other options. And so the Ritalin generation, there is an entire generation of, I would argue, the Nick Fuentes crowd, grew up during the Ritalin hyperactive phase. And that's how your brain reacts to being on Ritalin for a long time, where you now exclude any information that doesn't serve the purpose that you're seeking out. And once you get on an idea train, you just blaze a trail down that track. And the more you take that stuff, the more narrow it becomes. Which is, luckily, my whole life, focus has not been, my problem, not because I don't lose focus sometimes. It's because I always have a lot of shit to do, so I can jump from thing to thing. If I don't feel like playing guitar, I can write. If I don't feel like writing, I can do graphics. There's a lot of stuff that each of my interests can draw, is enough of a draw for most people's entire lives. And so I hop from one to the other and it's fine. But if you've read like books like The One Thing, which I think is garbage, it's all about like, and like the branding culture, especially, that isn't helpful, that's come up over the last couple of years, where it keeps you on a single track. And it goes, anything about your personality or your life that you can't monetize is useless, right? And that's been a mentality that's been around for the last 5 years, especially, maybe 8. It's really started to grow, as the nootropics and, brain chemistry stuff goes, which there's a lot of cool stuff in there. But if your whole thing is like focus energy, focus energy, focus energy, and you start understanding why, like Ben Shapiro's entire life is sitting in front of a laptop, reading it to the camera like this at like a hyperspeed with his voice getting, tinier and tinier as he speaks. You're talking to somebody who's like, on Ritalin burn. That's just neurologically wrong, Hal? No, it's biochemically correct. Because again, I'm talking largely about people who don't need these drugs. I'm talking about people who use them recreationally or for business. So that I know that's not what ADD is. These people don't have ADD in that regard. Neither do I. But I'm saying literally they are using ADD and ADHD drugs when they don't have the ailment. And that's what will cause this. ADHD people and ADD people, when they take them, it normalizes their focus. If you don't have that problem, it creates hyperfocus. Does that make sense? Is that clear, Flang Doodle? Hopefully. Takes a moment for the chat to catch up. But one of the reasons why this asshat is drinking caffeine-free Diet Coke is because he's on a shit ton of other stimulants and he wants the taste of it. He's taking a pill for what most people drink Diet Coke for. Most people I know who use amphetamines are racist. Yeah, it's a similar thing. It's a brain effect. It's just like taking SSRIs if you don't need them. Yeah, exactly. If you're using these things recreationally or for business, they're going to affect your brain differently than people who need them. That's just the reality of it. And what it'll cause is negative hyperfocus, especially if your personality or how you were raised. It'll very distinctly affect your behavior if you were raised in a certain way, because it'll move to your default system, because that's the lines in the neurological lines in your brain that have been written so heavily because your parents wrote that. So you get a lot of racist, sexist, bigoted parents having really, racist, sexist, bigoted kids who are like on teams, like they go to Charlotte, they go further than their parents about it. And I would also argue that, and I don't know if Musk is an ADHD or ADD candidate. I would doubt it. He's just got because he's got multiple interests in multiple outlets. It's a different thing. But you're a suppository addict, gut instinct. Well, that explains the name, doesn't it? I'm kidding. Gut instinct seems to be the perfect name for somebody with a suppository addiction. Yeah, if you're on the spectrum and you have a reason to take Ritalin or you have a reason to take these drugs, they won't affect you like that. But if you're not, and you're just using them as brain boosters, that has a cost. And you have to be aware of that cost. I don't think he's high-functioning autistic. I think he's just a dick. But yeah, that's where that comes from. That's why I will tell you, in my humble opinion, I guarantee that's why he drinks diet, caffeine-free sodas. Because he likes the taste of it, but he doesn't want to, but he gets the chemical part, the caffeine boost, elsewhere. Just showing this to embarrass Trump and Melania. Right? Since Melania Trump is trying to, here's Joe Biden. Okay, there we go. Do we know, oh yeah, this whole thing when they were hugging after the debate, right? I remember that. And Trump's like yanking her arm like he's got some sort of, see, hug me, do what she's doing. Oh, it's because of the Christmas stuff? Because there's this like Hallmark special Christmas thing that Jill Biden is doing that's great. I saw ads for it when I was back east. That's just super weird too. This is Barron taking a picture of his mom while she's sitting on his lap, and it looks like a Polaroid thing. This is like, I don't know. No. I didn't realize she was a green belt. Good for her. I didn't know. When did she pass her test? We don't worship Melania. We worship Jesus Christ as our elegant, intelligible. Somebody's accusing this person of, what is it? Make no mistake, GOP is now the party that worships Melania Trump for her nude photos and demonizes Joe Biden for having too much education. We don't worship Melania. We worship Jesus Christ. Right. Sure you do. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, so it's basically like Christmas comparisons or whatever. Here's a good idea. If you really want to celebrate Christmas, don't participate in that shit. Deus Ex Machina is it why? Oh, right, because everybody's saying that that's the replica from Deus Ex. Yeah, because that's the gun you use to shoot the poor people. Piss filter, yeah. There's a 3D printed cosplay version of it. Yeah, he had one. He's got a real one made. It's the 357 that was made to look like it. Yeah. Yeah, he had somebody make him one, a real one. The dude has a steel cutter in his factory. He could literally walk down there and tell one of his techs, here's $10,000, make this. And they would grind it out. Adam Schiff totally destroying Kevin McCarthy. That's fun. Yeah, Schiff is trending. I mean, we're going to be watching McCarthy go through some shit. Assange is trending. Why? Tweet links Russia state affiliated me. Okay, sorry. State about government. Okay. That's somebody else's. At Assange. Hands off Assange. There's a lot of ones. 5 major newspapers send letter to Biden demanding U.S. drop Assange charges, zero hedge. Yeah, they sent the stuff. The problem with him, and by the way, the problem with Assange's stuff wasn't that he got classified information and as a whistleblower sent it out. It's that he helped them acquire it. You're no longer the journalist at that point, and you have to do time just like the person who leaked the stuff. And again, if he'd have just gone through the justice system, he'd be out by now. Like, way to stand up for, your belief system. And again, this floats a lot. Russia floats this shit a lot. By the way, does anybody know how the Snowden chatbot is doing? Chogo's saying, okay, he's a football player who always sticks his tongue out. That's what the whole thing is. And everybody's like standing him right now. Good for him. Big Island, this is going to be the volcano again. Right, there we go. And then, of course, Spotify rap music trending. What is this? Oh, because you can give it as a gift or something. Is this promo? Never mind. Okay. I'm not jumping into that stuff at all. Forget it. Also, let me jump back into my chat. It is Cyber Monday. Hold on. There you go. Take a sip from... No, yeah, reach over and be careful. Kim Kardashian is pimping bondage bear on kids' clothing. Yikes. Yes, Sarah Palin lost this morning. We got that news while I was on Steph's show. She talked about it. It's hilarious. It's too bad dude had potential. We were talking about Musk or who? Pin him. She could do it. Right. Omar Schiff and Swalwell will not be on any committee once the GOP takes the House. Yeah, that won't really matter. They have to put somebody. And by the way, their majority is not going to last. And he's saying that as a way to get votes from his own people. What do you mean some Repubs won't take their seats? There are 2 Republicans that are basically under indictment at this point. And we'll wait and see if they, what the timeline on it is. And they might, temporarily appoint another Republican, but they'll have to have a special election in those particular districts, in which case they won by a hair's breadth and they won't bring out the Republicans again. And so there's a lot of these. If it had not been for New York and Florida, as far as the redistricting goes, Republicans would not control the House. And a lot of these areas, the Democrats have a better chance of taking the seat in a redo election than anybody else, because the Republicans spend so much time eating rhinos. So that's why. Yeah. So there's 2 of them, and then you think over the time? Do I think over time the Independent Party will grow? No. First of all, if you're a party, you're not independent. Even if you call yourself the Independent Party, that's hilarious. It's an oxymoron. Secondly, all it's going to do is sap votes from the 2 majors. And if it does, the libertarians are sapping from the Republican side. Independents, in theory, would sap from the Democratic side. Maybe. It's more likely over time that an independent party would sap from the center-right Republican crowd. But yeah, we're all individuals. I'm not. Shh. Yeah, the Tea Party, same shit. Like, it's not going anywhere. Again, like saying we have a two-party system, even amongst the differences inter-party, is just an embarrassing take. There are multiple facets within the House and the Senate and in reaching the presidency as far as within the Republicans, the type of Republicans that exist and the type of Democrats there are. It's a broad swath. So the idea that somehow, we even have a locked-in two-party system where everybody walks in rows is silly. Circus Peanut Party. You're just evil, Francie, at this point. Are you for instant runoff voting? Yes, in some cases. But I do think in the cases where people only benefit from sort of voter ignorance, riding on whatever the state usually does, there's a tendency if you put some time between the runoff and the actual, the initial one, 6 weeks or something like that, you get people who really care to come out as opposed to, I'm there to vote for this party and therefore I'll tag on everybody else, straight ticket in certain areas. You benefit from straight ticket voting. That's what got Walker as close as he got, quite frankly. It was the Kemp voter. Dr. Biden was a model in her youth. Yeah, she's a lovely person. She's great. Oh, thank you so much, Melanie. Thank you for the super chats. By the way, you can support the show through super chats, Facebook stars. You can subscribe on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. I don't know if that's it would be nice if it doubled with Amazon Smile, but who cares? And then, of course, super chats, and there's a big Venmo thing that's right up here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for enjoying the show. I hope it makes your life more fun and feels adds a level of understanding you might not get from someplace else. Okay, we know why that. Ghana is trending, hopefully because of soccer. No, yes, yeah, good, okay. That's great. I worry when Ghana trends sometimes because it's not always good. Diet Coke, there we go. Monday motivation, always good. Oh, look at this. Metallica trending is a good thing. And look out. A new album and a tour. Come on now. Metallica's announced their new album, 72 Seasons, available on April 14, 2023, band's own Black & Recordings label, produced by Hetfield and Ulrich, clocking in over 77. That's amazing. Cool. And I love this. Pantera is going to tour, and Zakk Wylde is playing the Dimebag stuff. You guys are not going to be interested in this the way I am. I completely understand. But Dimebag and Zakk were really close friends. His song In This River is about the death of Dimebag Darrell, the guitar player in Pantera who was killed. And they're going to be touring opening for Metallica. That'll be crazy. All right, where am I going to see them? LA, August 25th and 27th. And then where else? Chicago, August 9th and 11th, 2024. Yeah, they're planning it far out. They have a huge production. That's great. Cool. It's interesting because the Metallica shows are becoming like the Peter Gabriel or U2 shows of super metal. Oh, BlockFi is crashing because people are idiots. Breaking news, BlockFi, a cryptocurrency lender, what the fuck, has filed for bankruptcy. You're lending that bullshit. You're lending you're going to create lending within, and it didn't work out? BlockFi staff deleted their page. Hi. Hey, all those people who are like, we need to get all these old fuckers out of power and get some young blood in there? I give you crypto. There's something about people who've been around a while. Yeah, there's this fucker. What's his name? Yeah, Anthony Papagliano pumping BlockFi. Yeah, whoever that, like the douchebag from FTX.
I'm mad because some of these teams' decisions have now put individual users at risk. Today's episode is brought to you by FTX US. They're a safe, regulated way to buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies.
Not so much. Again, anytime somebody is telling me, we just need young people in there, we got to get some young people and some new ideas, like, fuck off with that nonsense. Yeah, you got to be at a certain age where you've seen the new shit come around a couple of times and you're like, all right, tap the brakes, son. We'll see, but we got to do pilot programs. Oh, Ty has COVID? Man. They're all vaccinated, so hopefully he's all right. Love to you guys. King's X has had to cancel their Houston show. I'm sure they will return. They have family around there. They're from the Katy area. Yeah, like watching the crypto thing crash has been particularly hilarious because I'm one of those people who was shitting on it the whole time. And full disclosure, I made some money on it on Ethereum and Doge and Bitcoin, like a little bit, like, you know, because my girlfriend's son was like, can you buy some of that? You know, like he's like, it's going to go up and blah, blah. I'm like, no, it isn't. And I was like, let me show you how it works. And so I bought some and just sat on it. And then I was like, I'm getting rid of this because it's not going anywhere. And I sold it right before it collapsed because I'm smart. So I think I made $3,000 on $100. And there's a bunch of people who, you know, it's interesting. There's a bunch of people who made money like that. And they're the ones who are destroying FTX and BlockFi. They got out, you know, if you'd put $1 million in and you're waiting to make 100 million, those are the people who are like, oh, we got to keep doing it. It's just making money hand over fist. And so you can get crazed about it. If it's a smaller amount, you're like, well, if I lost it, I lost it. It's kind of like playing the lottery or whatever. You're not as emotionally invested as you would when like, oh my God, I'm making $50 million. Keep it in there and then it all dies. How do you mine cryptocurrency? You do it with complex mathematical equations that once they solve, create a Bitcoin or a part of a Bitcoin. In most cases, it's a single Bitcoin. And it takes a ton of computation. So you use arrays of computers, and they use graphics cards do the quickest computation. So they want the fastest ones. So they fill these computers with like 3 graphics cards, and they train them together. And they all try to solve this. You know, it's almost like trying to crack a code to get into a building or something like that. They crack the code and boop, there you go. There's a Bitcoin. And then it does it again. But it takes a shit ton of energy, and it's terrible for the environment. And they ate up all the graphics cards. Like I had a hell of a time getting a graphics card from my computer for this live stream show. I had to wait and pay way too much for it simply because all the Bitcoin assholes were buying them up in bulk. Oh, yeah, the FTX guy's complaining that it's regulation that stopped him. Right. Yeah. If it hadn't been for the stupid cops, I could have paid everybody on my crew for the bank robbery. It's just stupid. FTX, BlockFi files for bankruptcy because it's a house of fucking cards. People are stupid. I love when they use pictures of actual coins. I gotta say that in and of itself is kind of embarrassing. This is like an FTX. Look at that. That's an FTX coin. Like they made them to hand out to people, but they're not actually worth anything. It'd be one thing if you could actually like RFID, and supercode an actual Bitcoin onto one of these things. And so, therefore, the actual coin itself exists somewhere in the world, and you could cash it in at some point. But since they're against, this is oddly, these are the same assholes that told you gold's real, buddy, and they go into crypto. And they're also the people like, they're trying to create a cashless society. What the fuck do you think Bitcoin is, dummy? Right? Right? Am I losing my mind here? I don't know. Oh God, Bittner, Dilemma, Deus Ex, a lot of the same shit. Pantera, there we go. Assange, Vindman, Peyton, Today Only, of course, because it's that. Okay, let me show you something else. Let me bring back the chat because I love you guys. Hi guys, like and subscribe. Do all the kind of, okay. Hal, please contact. Well, sorry, Andrew Mercado about Phil Bittner. He raised $5,000 last Friday to help Ukrainian civilians. Or I think he would like to have Phil. Excellent. Okay. At Mercado Media. Okay. Sounds good, Philip. I appreciate that. Was Hal in the movie half-baked? No, I was not. I just have long hair. Guys, Rusty Rockets is trying to get Bitcoin up so he can make money off the panic buying. Yeah, well, a lot of those guys put a lot of money into Bitcoin and they're freaking out. Watch the assholes who are freaking out about Klaus Schwab and the you'll own nothing and be happy and blah, blah, blah. Like the World Economic Forum, Great Reset stuff. They're panicking about it because those are the same people who dove into fucking Bitcoin. Because they either bought the hype that the World Economic Forum is going to design the fucking world economy, which they fucking are not. It's just stupid. If anything, if it would have any effect on any economies in the world, it would only be the developing nations. Everybody else is telling them to go pound sand. It's just stupid. Do you like Bon Jovi? I do. I mean, I like early Bon Jovi a lot. And I'm, the first two albums. Well, and the original Runaway single. You would have been better off buying U.S. Treasury bonds. You absolutely would have. Half-baked, well, yeah. Now I want Ben and Jerry's, as you do. Merry Christmas. Shitter was full. Right. Great. Randy Quaid has entered the chat. Yeah, so Glenn Beck is in a panic. Rusty Rockets is in a panic. Shapiro, all these guys, they were all sold on this shit. They all bought into it. Okay, I think I showed you this the other day. And look, like Kathy Wood, I like what she says most of the time. But the one area where she thinks, I will give her credit that she says basically not yet on Bitcoin. But the idea is then you get in when it's sitting there and eventually it elevates to, it'll be a ubiquitous, useful trend. The problem is, who the fuck says it's going to be Bitcoin by then? Here's let me load this premise on you, if I may. Wood, Musk, Dorsey, Bitcoin. I'll show you this thing because I watched it not too long ago. Let me present this to you. Okay, you like the idea of a digital currency that's outside of any government control by any particular government, and that's kind of stable on its worth, like anything that people trade could be stable on its worth because people are emotional and humanity is gooey. And if you can't peg it, that's why everybody thinks you should peg the dollar to gold, even though gold is fucking useless. It's pretty, but so what? Pegging your entire economy not to the productivity of the people, but to like pretty rocks is fucking dumb. So the idea being is that if, let's say, you're there in the future, there will be some sort of digital, blockchain related currency that exists. Who the fuck says it's not going to be something that will wholly have to be new because somebody's going to discover a flaw in how Bitcoin exists and go, oh, we can't use that. It's a problem. And the day they go, oh yeah, this is way better. Done. I understand it. So let me show you this real quick. So, God damn, that's stupid. Okay, so this is, let me bring this over here, theater mode, there we go. Drag this, I gotta shrink it down a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you something. So this is from when the fuck was this? This is like a month ago or something. This was not long ago. This was a little gathering that's, demystifying Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a tool for economic empowerment, supporting the developer ecosystem. And they talk about like, hey, by the way, don't look at this concrete trading investment. Elon needs Bitcoin. Everybody's jumping in. Okay. See this like, Don't take any of this information. Certainly the statements contained in this may be statements of future expectation and other forward-looking statements. They're not based on, they have to say this. It's not going to work, okay? They have to go, if it doesn't work, it's not our fault. We're just telling you, okay? This is the ARC dude. That's Cathie Wood. I like Cathie's disruptive idea about technology. Cool. It ain't Bitcoin. It might be blockchain, but it's not money based on blockchain. It's like owning your house, instead of having a deed, having it in the blockchain because you need 3 different inputs to change it so nobody could steal your identity. Shit like that's kind of cool. And by the way, that's how most of those like identity theft companies work. They use the blockchain. They put all your shit in one area under, establish you as the owner of your house or your car or your credit card or whatever it is. And you need 3 inputs from different areas with different codes to get in to change anything. So anyways, she's fine. Look who she brings on. Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey. This was just a couple months ago. And the whole purpose of this is that, we'll see what she says right here. Hold on one second.
And a monetary scholar. In 2014, I asked him if he would collaborate on a paper on Bitcoin. And he was a bit of a naysayer at first. And
he turned out to be right.
But agreed to read the paper. He read the paper, tore it up, and from an economics point of view, really wanted to understand this. And he said, I think you got something here. This is a rules-based monetary system. I've been waiting for this for my entire career. So the combination of disruptive innovation generally.
By the way, that's her whole shtick, is disruptive innovation. And I'm for it. Totally cool. This ain't it. Also, let me skip ahead and then we'll understand this dude and Jack Dorsey have a shit ton of Bitcoin. Lots of it. They bought it all and they doubled down. They probably bought more at the peak, thinking it was going nowhere but up. So much of it, because they're that rich, that when it went down, they lost all of their initial investment.
Which Peter Thiel, Max Levchin, Luke Howry, and others created when we combined the companies and made PayPal. So I've been thinking about money for a long time. And really, I think it's best to think of money as an information system, primarily an information system for labor allocation.
No. Not labor allocation. That's just silly. He's using buzzwords he read in a book someplace. That's stupid. You don't allocate labor by money. It's worth transfer. It's temporary worth transfer. What I want is to go out on a date with my girlfriend, eat a ham sandwich, go see a movie, drive my car for a week, whatever it is. And in exchange for those things, I will do certain work for you. But you're not going to pay me in ham sandwiches, and you're not going to drive me to the date, and you're not going to push my car everywhere. You're going to give me money, and then I will spend it on those things. It's an intermediary between what I want and what you have. It's just so stupid.
And for practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, like very different databases in bank mainframes around the world.
No, it doesn't. Because, and again, this is basically the same as money. No, it fucking isn't. A good portion of money exists in physical form. Not as much of it as you think, but enough to actually fuck the economy one direction or another.
It moves quite slowly in reality. It seems to move fast sometimes, and it does with PayPal, which is real time. But for the vast majority of the systems,
it's real time if you want to pay a fee. It's 3 days if you don't.
Out there are batch processing, so the actual reconciliation may take 1 to 5 business days, sometimes longer. And you have the ACH system, which is ancient and still in operation, which is allows transfers effectively like a check would be an ACH transfer, but it's not secure. And you've got the credit card systems, which are also not secure. It'd be like
but crypto is secure. And because the companies that you use to transfer your crypto to other people in exchange for worth and use it exactly like cash money are totally trustworthy and don't turn your currency into a magic currency that they just fucking shit out on their desk that morning and then turn it back into a useful. Oh God, this is so stupid. Okay, so he says this shit. People jump in. It's a lot of like management blather. Brr, brr, brr. And here's Dorsey, who I think is in like Thailand, which is like just like rich assholes king thing. He just go to a poor country and live there like you're a man of the people, just because nobody recognizes you because you're the only white guy for, you must be a tourist with a funky beard. Nobody knows you're that guy.
It's weird as hell. It's always evolving, and it just reminded me of the internet when I was a kid. And, I encountered alt cypherpunks when I was fairly young, and this was a topic of discussion for years. I didn't touch it until 2008 when we started Square. Elon and teams at X and PayPal inspired a lot of what we were trying to do, trying to bring in more to a physical world, but we encountered this crazy predatory system that was slow, that was obtuse. And I think, one of the things that we tried to do, which X and PayPal also tried to do, is build an abstraction layer around this complication and around this predatory nature that the financial industry can tend to be.
Yes. So that's the premise, is that that the great thing about Bitcoin is that there may be a predatory nature, around the regular financial system, but not, let's see, not in the crypto currency area, because that's out of everybody's hands. It removes the humanity from the process, and nobody can charge you a service fee or fuck around with your investment, the way they can. Yeah. Look at this. FTX collapse. Billionaire Mark Cuban gives crypto a dream boost. You know why? Because he has to. Get out of here. The famous entrepreneur is invested in several projects and firms in the crypto industry. Yeah, we know. Because he needs to salvage it. And he thinks his name will do it. And he lost billions of dollars. The abrupt and rapid collapse of FTX cryptocurrency exchange has caused a shock in the crypto space. Yeah, it's just a minor shock. Just a little ooh, that felt nice. The fall of a company valued at $32 billion in February, which occurred in just a few days, ended up casting suspicion on the entire young industry of financial services. Yeah, that's what we need. We need young free thinkers who aren't afraid to try shit in charge of large institutional endeavors, like how we all pay for food. Fuck off. Think of it this way. This, as big as it is, compared to the rest of the economy, this is a pilot program. Everything you're seeing about crypto, about its collapse and all the chicanery and the fact that it's largely used to traffic people, drugs, and weapons, that's exactly what you would float a system for. Go, would this work? Could we set up something like this? Let's do a pilot program. It'll have to be somewhere in the order of like total of, just under $1 trillion worth of net worth being transferred all over the place. See if it can stand up to the whatever $300 trillion world economy. And we'll do a little slice of it and see how it works out. It didn't. The fall of a company. Okay, there we go. Blah, blah, blah. Get out of here. Confidence in the industry is at an all-time low. Retail investors have fled, while institutional investors linked to FTX and its sister company, Alameda Research, are still determining their losses from their exposure to Sam Bankman-Fried's empire. While there are lessons to be learned from this disaster, which threatens the entire sector, it's an understatement saying that it will take a long time to regain the lost confidence. A lot of mistakes. Billionaire Mark Cuban has not lost faith, though, because he knows it. The entire crypto thing is based on the greater fool concept. That there's always an idiot out there who's willing to pay more for something than you because you can trick that person into thinking it has worth. It happens in real estate all the time, especially in real estate speculation. The entire Chinese real estate system is based on it. Also, for the record, as the Chinese real estate sector has collapsed and as the Russian oligarchs have had their finances seized, it's not a fucking surprise that people started taking their money out of crypto and making people go, why are people leaving crypto all of a sudden? Because they need their money to spend. They're not getting it from anywhere else. They're going broke. Their economies are collapsing. So they got to get their money from somewhere, and it was sitting in Bitcoin. So they took it out, and once a large number of people started taking it out, the idea is they must be taking it out not because everybody needs money all at once, because we're post-COVID and current war, but because there must be something wrong. And so they start noticing all the shit that was wrong. Separate the signal from the noise, Cuban told TMZ. Jesus Christ. There's been a lot of people making a lot of mistakes, but it doesn't change the underlying value. Yes, it does. It absolutely changes the underlying value because it's a system of exchange. And if the exchange ain't shit, then the system itself can't work. Ugh. But of course, he's got, lots of money in there. Yeah. Owners are currently the subject of a class action lawsuit related to the bankruptcy of crypto lender Voyager Digital, which he had promoted a partnership signed in 2021. This partnership between Voyager Digital and the Dallas Mavericks had one mission: to promote cryptocurrencies by making coins more accessible through educational and digital programs. This is just a fucking pump and dump. That's They sent this out in October 2021. Use Mavs 100, the Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks, to win money. This is just how do you not see this shit coming? Basic question: why have I invested in crypto? Because I believe smart contracts will have significant impact in creating valuable applications. I've said that from day one. Yeah, but that's blockchain, stupid. Bitcoin is part of blockchain. Blockchain is not part of Bitcoin. What has not been created is an application that is ubiquitous, one that is obviously needed by everyone, and they're willing to go through a learning curve to use. Maybe it never comes. I hope and think it will. No, because there's no way of getting it out once it's in there, and nobody trusts. Dude, there's too much talk on the right about fucking what if an asteroid hits, EMP pulses, blah blah blah. Nobody's going to want to put all their everything, in. Yes, Halcoin is exploding. Hashtag Halcoin. Cuban's relatively a good guy. He just bought this bullshit. And he put a lot of money into it and, fucked himself. He probably lost, $12 billion that he thought he had, which you don't really lose. If you have it in something that's an investment and the investment doesn't pan out, you lose what you had, not what you could have had. But it feels like you lost what you could have had. Boy, do you. You know what I mean? You lost $11 billion, exactly. Halcoin for life, Halcoin to the moon. Here's, you want to know why I'm serious, why I immediately was like, oh, fuck Bitcoin and this stuff, get out now. I was like, oh, is it interesting? Well, look into it. There's some potential. I mean, I'm not immediately skeptical in the negative. I do like the idea of disruptive technologies. I'm curious. And what made me, hold on, let me show you what made me go, oh, fuck that. Mm-hmm. You can just make your own. How to create a cryptocurrency. Ways to create it. Make your own blockchain. These are your, you can create a blockchain-based currency from scratch to support native crypto, and this method gives you the most design freedom. However, creating a new blockchain isn't just a few clicks and you're done. The process is very complex and requires at least basic coding skills and in-depth understanding of the blockchain. If you're not a programmer, you can hire someone to create your blockchain for you. There are also, which is, by the way, what Sam Bankman-Fried did for everyone. Change the code of existing blockchain technology. Create a new cryptocurrency on an existing platform. There's a bunch of, you could sign up. When it comes to cryptocurrency, the most dominant platform for creating new crypto is, it's called the ERC20 token. There you go. You just sign up on there and then you design your cryptocurrency from that. How to make a cryptocurrency. Define your objectives. Design a consensus mechanism of like how many there will be and how many get to have it and how you dole it out. And basically you make it and you say there's only ever going to be 24 million of these things ever. And I gave myself 10 of them. And then I'll let the other 14 be traded to drive the price of the other 10 up. And then a lot of these fuckers bailed out. They used They used it to escape billionaire accused of intentionally driving up cryptocurrency price more than 36,000 over 2 years and then letting it crash. Yeah, I mean, it's so fucking, it's just a pump and dump. It's just designed for pump and dumps. But the fact that you can just go online and make one, you know, we joke about Halcoin, but I could fucking make one if I wanted to. I'm not above that kind of coding. I'll have you know. Hal, I'm given your age, you remember the airplane ride scheme from the late 80s and early 90s, BTC, and yeah, Bitcoin in a nutshell. Yeah, exactly. Is a goal-based only deal with, yeah. AI-assisted pyramid scheme generator. Exactly. I seriously thought these people are going to get fucked when it came out. Exactly. That's like, and how do you not? Again, it's not. The best description of Bitcoin that I've heard is that it's a solution in search of a problem. We know it'll be useful for something sometime, but we don't know what that thing is yet. But let's make it anyways. Which is, talk about, like, that's not disruptive innovation. That is innovation. That's like a cul-de-sac innovation. It's so stupid. Again, the blockchain idea is genius. Having something that, you know, as far as ownership or tracking something or measuring something that can't be hacked or destroyed from the outside without a major input, you know, which would require, like, the Russians, the Chinese, the US, the Iranians, the Saudis, and the Brits to all get together just to fuck you out of the deed for your house is pretty good because they won't. Your Bitcoins are made out of chocolate. Oh my God, please tell me that there are Bitcoin chocolates. Please tell me. There have to be. Of course there are. Ladies and gentlemen, and what a great ad. Look at this. Foiled again. Chocolate Bitcoins. Belgian milk chocolate. Look at that. And it's called Foiled again. That's so fucking funny. Yeah, there they are. They're Bitcoins. I'm so getting these for the holidays. Holy shit. That's hilarious. And look at that. A Bitcoin. Look at this. In crypto we trust. Oh, God. I just picture like Sam Bankman-Fried or these fuckers sitting around like eating these things sadly from a gift bag. Just like... How much were these? Are they fancy? They're not fancy. They were like $28. It's better than coal. That's right. You're going to get Bitcoin in your fucking... Can I have coal instead? At least I can burn it for heat. I got to get dark chocolate ones and mix them in. I can't like milk chocolates. Just look, that's so fucking funny. What a bunch of assholes. Hold on. There we go. 10,000 per byte loss. Hand out chip coin to that kids. That's hilarious. That's the poor man's Bitcoin. That's the only kind of Bitcoin that exists. Shit. Man, oh Shevitz. Mm-hmm. So stupid. What a bunch of pricks. I have, you know what I have, besides cats? Here, hold on one second. Talk amongst yourselves. Hold on, I'll put on my background scene. I'm going to go get something. I'll show you what I have that actually has more worth to me than Bitcoin ever did. Where's my be right back? I'll be right back. Here you go. Okay, I'm back. Hi. So here's what I got. See if anybody recognizes these. See these guys? I got a bunch of these for my birthday from a friend of mine, and it also came with this. Does anybody recognize where these are from? Somebody will do it. I'm pretty sure right away. You're thinking, you know it. Oh, Chuck E. Cheese, nope. They're from a movie. Kruger coins, not bad. Franklin Mint, yeah. John Wick, there you go. Marcus did it right. That's exactly right. These are John Wick coins. So yeah, and then this is the promise thing where you put your bloody fingerprint and then you give it to somebody and it's got your bloody fingerprint, and so they can cash it in at any point. You owe them a favor. Yeah. So this was a gift from a friend of mine. And I like, and the quality of the design, I have to say, is actually really nice. Like, it's really well done. And this is metal. And it's even got the line in the center of it. Yeah, it's a marker, right. So yeah, it was cool. And I guarantee you, one of the reasons why those Bitcoins that you see used as props that everybody has, that has the Bitcoin gold, at some point, this goes back to the John Wick, Ayn Rand fans. There's not a single one of these fuckers in the Bitcoin world that hasn't watched John Wick and said, wouldn't it be cool if we just pay for everything in gold coins and that's it amongst ourselves, and the plebes can use all this bullshit, but this is how we'll pay each other, just like in the Ayn Rand mountain in Atlas Shrugged. Yeah, put a DNA sample in there? Oh, you bet. Won't be blood, I'll tell you that. The high table wants to meet with you. They can come to me. Huh? How you like that? Put your bloody fingerprint in the marker? I might, yeah. And what I would do is I would put my bloody fingerprint in this and give it to a friend and say, anything you need, you come to me. As opposed to like, you did me a favor and I owe you or whatever. This would be kind of a cool gift to somebody to go, yeah, inside, that's my fingerprint. You need somebody, I'm there. Like, I think there's like a version of that. Yeah, a blood oath, basically based on friendship. When I was a kid, we used to do, I only did it 3 times. We used to, you would prick your hand with a pin and do a blood handshake. Very redneck. Yeah. Yeah, to be like blood brothers. I'm not recommending anyone harm themselves in this process. You're adults, you'll do whatever. Yeah. Blood brother, sister, not so redneck. Well, when we did it, yeah, it's the equivalent. Spitting on your hand is probably more redneck, I would argue. But yeah. The funny thing is, I have a lot of friends like that goes without saying. Liberal redneck. There's a lot of them. Be an adult. Whatever. Wear a rubber glove, Eight. If you're blood brothering with somebody, I think you're beyond that point where you worry about it, because it's all, it's a till death do us part friendship. Yo, what's happening, folk? How you doing? Welcome, like, subscribe. Welcome to the show. This is the morning show. We do this with some regularity. Hi, chat room. Boom. Trey Crowder confirmed, right. It was pre-AIDS, that is true. Anyway, so let's, I think we're out of these for the day. There you go. Mike Lindell is because he's officially running. He said it. He came with, there he goes. 100%. He's announcing. Lindell's announcement comes after GOP chairwoman failed to delivery she failed to delivery, did she? She failed at delivering. Failed to deliver, I think is what they mean. The red wave voters and donors were hoping for. I'm not watching this because we will watch it this afternoon. Because if I start watching this, I will laugh my ass off and then I won't have an ass for the rest of the day. Kellyanne Conway is an awful person. Why do we have to deal with her in the morning? The January 6th committee. She's at January 6th. She's testifying in front of January 6th. Womp, 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 wah. That's great. ABC Pooler staking out the Jan 6 committee office spots Kellyanne Conway entering. Dun, 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 don't. Don't. Very exciting. Oh, is the yard guy here? What's happening? I got one of those, hold on, my camera's got a sliver in the screen. I don't know why that is. There was somebody moving in my yard. My sensors went off. Look out. Yeah. Oh no, an AP poll. Really? Do we have to do this? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Sports. All right. And this is going to be just announced gets carried away. The minute people start doing just announced, it just goes nuts. It just becomes a meme instantly. The Nationals have just announced they will oppose the indigenous voice to Parliament. Okay. Alberta. Okay. This only fool. So people just start, everything becomes just announced. Oh God. How Antifa thinks they look, how they actually look. Yikes. Here's the AVAs. Everybody coming just. Oh, this is art. Okay. I was like, yeah, BlockFi is filing for Chapter 11. That's partly what was kicking off this whole thing. I gotta tell you, I find it particularly hilarious how the Bitcoin candies are a limited edition, selling out fast. Foiled again, chocolate website for dark chocolate. Thank you. Thank you, Smiling Buddha Lady. I'm very excited. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna, normally I check the Bloombergs of the world and that kind of stuff just to show everybody how right I am all the time. And there's a couple things right here. Everybody's mad that we're not having a recession. We're not going to have what people normally, by the way, we've had recessions in the past in years where people, unless you were on Wall Street, you didn't know there was a recession. It lasted 6 weeks or 3 months, and you were just doing your shit. And by the time it affected any fucking thing, it was gone. This idea of a recession, I don't know why, but people seem to think that recessions, because of things like 2008 probably, but, and maybe post 9/11, that, what do they claim as a tangible asset? Nobody knows. That most people think in 2-year spans. Oh, a recession, that means 2 years and nothing's gonna, it's gonna be terrible for 2 years. They think, I don't know why, but automatically people think recessions last 2 years. When sometimes they last a month, sometimes they last 3 to 6 months. Sometimes it's, rarely is it that long. Do I think there'll be a mild recession in the U.S.? Yes. I think arguably, the ripple effect of Russia, the ripple effect of COVID, there's a chance, but it won't affect any fucking thing. And I'll tell you why. Because all the other economies in the world are eating shit right now. And the U.S. isn't. One of the reasons why our stock market keeps going up and why the dollar is as strong as it is because you can trust it. People are like Russian oligarchs and Russian rich people are pulling their money out of the system and putting it anywhere where they know it can be trusted. And the same thing with rich Chinese people are trying to hide some of their wealth before the collapse comes. And they're putting it in the U.S. stock market. They're buying U.S. real estate. They're buying U.S. treasury bonds and shit. That's why it doesn't make any fucking sense. If you listen to these folks, they're like, it's just always it's so wild. The stock market's so volatile. Volatile, motherfucker. You're thinking... First of all, you're acting like there was no COVID, like it never happened. And secondly, you're acting like it's isolated, like only Americans can buy American stocks. Do you know how many people actually think that? That stocks bought in the U.S. stock market, there's an argument that depending on who you ask and who's buying it through what, as far as exchanges and places like Goldman Sachs and others, that the majority of the stakeholders in the American stock market aren't Americans at all. Yeah, here you go. Americans spent the most ever in one day on Black Friday on line in 9.12 billion. 9.12 billion. Right. Candace Owens Glorified just went belly up too. That's gorgeous. By the way, the cascading effect of all this crypto collapse is just going to be fucking beautiful to watch. And the other thing is that part of the collapse happens like, oh shit, sell. And they get out. Well, what are they going to do? Sit on cash? Most of them can't even let their governments know they have cash because the government will just seize it. I'm not talking about taxes. I'm talking about just taking their shit. So they'll put it into something else. Well, where are they putting it? You put it in treasuries, stable, slow, or you can put it in stocks and hope they go up. And there's this, how long have they been saying buy the dip and all that shit for the last couple of weeks? Like everybody's looking for the bottom. And even if you're not close to the bottom, it's better than the bottom of fucking Bitcoin. So, yeah. So there's a job market riddle at the heart of the coming recession. And this is, I did like, is there going to be one and nobody feels it? It's happened a couple of times in American history where there's technically a recession, but everybody just moves on as if nobody gives a shit. The housing market, there's this is interesting too. Nobody knows where nobody knows where the Fed is going to end on interest rates. Beg your pardon. I'm trying to straighten this out. So they're waiting to see. And the reality is like it could go up or it could go lower. And if it goes lower and you buy in, you know, if you're a big institutional investor and you're not just a person buying a house, if you buy 50 houses and a half a percentage point means a huge deal. If you're buying one, not so much. And also in the course of you having that house for 30 years, if the price goes up, quite frankly, you might shave off 2% of your profit on that, or you might be able to refinance in a few years when the system turns back around and you know it. And then ultimately your investment was only like, let's say you're paying, you get a mortgage today at 6%. And then in the future, interest rates go back down to 4%. And so you refinance at 4%. You've paid into the 6% version for a few years. And now you'll pay into the 4% version after that. So your profit will be somewhere in between when you sell your house, that you'll have to split with, you know, the cost of the overall house versus what you're going to take in from. People do that shit all the time. 35 years for a home loan is a long fucking time. 15 years is a long fucking time. People don't live like this anymore. What happened? What would happen if everyone just didn't buy anything for a week? Well, small businesses would crater, big companies would survive, because that you can look at it to some degree. That's what happened with COVID in a couple of spots. Extrapolated over 6 weeks, they dropped what they purchased, a week's worth of stuff less than they would have purchased over 3 weeks, and it fucked all the small businesses. And also, depending on what you mean food or just like goods. And there's no, like, a general shopping strike has always been a ridiculous idea because human beings don't buy on a cycle. That's why they try to attack like Black Friday or Christmas sales or something like that every year, because they figure that's the one day you could go. If everybody just didn't buy something today, it would be less shit. Dude, it's never going to happen. Ever. Should have bought that toilet paper stock. Well, it was bad. Yes, everyone would spend twice as much the next week. That's exactly right.
Biggest change.
Hold on, whatever. Anyway, so this kind of stuff always fascinates me, especially because these folks are all talking about it as if it never fucking, as if COVID never happened, as if they talk about 2008 as if it's still having an impact, but they don't talk about COVID as if it is. It's so weird. Meanwhile, in China, holy shit. Let's see. I showed a couple of things. One second. China protests. There you go. Let's see. Let me grab some where you can see. the protests. Yeah, I'm trying to find something. Yeah, here's Al Jazeera's, so you'll be able to see something. Okay, oh, that's fine. Watch on YouTube. Opening up. I'm finding something for you because I'll show you this. So this is. People are calling for Xi Jinping to step down. They're saying for the Communist Party to step down. Also, they're talking about this one fire. I think it killed 36 people, and the people couldn't get out because of COVID restrictions. They had blocked the doors. People weren't allowed to leave their buildings without permission, and they had welded the doors shut, to make sure that people could only leave through the front. And they basically trapped these people to die, and you could hear them screaming and dying. It was just heartbreaking. And there were again those 8 Foxconn employees that allegedly died, and again they don't let the information out, and they shut down the internet when these stories start gaining some ground. That died in a dorm room at Foxconn, and they don't know if it was a mass exodus from life or if it was carbon monoxide poisoning or what have you, but they all died in one room, and everybody around them were like, they just bugged out. I mean, it could have been COVID at this point because they didn't want to tell anybody. If everybody in that dorm room had COVID and they didn't want to go down for testing, they just stayed in there, or they locked them in and they all got it and died. It's beyond. Penguins 9192 is saying this protest seems significant. This is Tiananmen Square level stuff. This hasn't happened since 84. It's amazing. And I have to say, it is heartwarming to see the Chinese people standing up, because I know a lot of good people in China and in Taiwan, and they don't need any of this shit. They didn't sign up for this shit. For the longest time, they were like, oh yeah, Deng Xiaoping set it up. Yeah, we're communists, but are we really? And we just all hump right along. And then all of a sudden, Xi Jinping decided about 5 years ago that he was going to be the next Mao Zedong, and he was going to change everything back to that system and he wanted to be on the money instead of Mao. And that's going to take a long time. So he made himself, emperor, essentially. And ever since then, the country has been changing horribly. Just more draconian, just authoritarian bullshit. Basically trying to turn a giant country into North Korea. And it can only work for so long. Sorry, 1989. Did I say 84? Right, because I was saying the other thing about 84. Thank you very much. Yes, since 1989. Yeah. Yeah, and they've been snatching people. They do this all the time, though. This isn't new. But it's getting harder for them to, they're saying Communist Party, Xiangban, step down. Yeah, CCP, Xiangban. Yeah, and worst rise in COVID cases since the Shanghai lockdown earlier this year, which were worse than the initial cases. Yeah, just and it's scary because they're gonna crack down because that's the only option they have. So, 所以我的中国的朋友，我爱你. I love you guys. Yeah, it's just and then similarly. There's, I think to some degree there's this idea that Russia was able to snatch some people off the streets. Hold on. Let's see. This was the difference. I didn't see the footage for this. Yeah, here you go. This is... Yeah, here you go. They're knocking down the COVID barriers. See this? Where they trap them in the building? They're just pushing them over. And there's these cops, these like health cops that are in the middle of it that are supposed to stop everybody. So they rush over into here and push back on everybody. And then they all run down here and push this part over. There's a shit ton of it happening. And it's crazy. Yeah, there you go. Hold on. See if this one. Oh, it's an ad. Sorry.
Getting me in-laws together.
Hold on 1 second until the ad passes. Yeah, it's goofy. Whatever. Okay.
Did its biggest spike in COVID infections since April of last year. More than 17,000 local cases were confirmed on Monday, with over 5,000 coming from the
I was not ready for her to be this posh.
city of Guangzhou.
Officials
Guangzhou.
there have set up road barriers to keep residents indoors, but some people have broken through the barriers.
Oh, they're in not even Guangzhou. It's in Guangzhou in China. Like, not even close.
Barricades and taken to the streets in protest. Inez Christie Lou Stout joins us now with more protests breaking out across that region.
Yeah, of course she's in Hong Kong.
What more have you learned, and how much information are you getting?
I learned that I can't go into Beijing or Shanghai or Chengdu or Chongqing or Shenzhen for that matter. They won't let me because no one's allowed to film anything. And they put up these giant internet disruptive vehicles that roll in and squash the internet. I've learned that. So I'm here in Hong Kong. The next time you see me, I might be in Macau.
Yeah, Max, residents in Guangzhou are angry, they're furious, and they are taking to the streets, especially in the lockdown district of Guangzhou known as Haizhu. And we've been monitoring social media images that have been circulating widely online, and they show that the residents in this lockdown neighborhood are defying local orders. And some, as you can see here, they've been breaking down these roadway barriers meant to confine them at home so they can set out onto the streets and to protest. And in one of these videos, a woman's voice is heard in the background, and she is saying, quote, "They are revolting." CNN has been able to...
By the way, she means that they're doing the action of revolting, not that they smell bad or gross.
To locate these images, they are indeed from the Haizhu district of Guangzhou, but we cannot independently confirm them. On Tuesday, there was a local press conference, and officials did confirm.
By the way, this is right after Xi Jinping took power for a third term. Unprecedented third power term. And yeah, the timing is amazing.
That large parts of the district are still under lockdown, with one area official saying, quote, "We have also realized many of our shortcomings." Now, some background here. Guangzhou is a major economic powerhouse.
By the way, Xi Jinping hasn't said shit about any of this. Like, he's either in hiding or they're just pretending it's not happening. They're trying to come up with a narrative.
Home to some 19 million people. It is now the epicenter of a nationwide COVID-19 outbreak in China. And on Monday, Guangzhou reported record infections along with other major cities, including Beijing and Chongqing. And even though the case numbers in China are very low, especially when you compare it to the West, China is still holding tight to this tough zero COVID policy, the policy of mass testing, of contact tracing, border controls, etc., which has disrupted both lives and livelihoods. And the protests in Guangzhou, they come weeks after the other protests that we have been covering here in CNN in Lhasa.
Yeah.
As well as the Sitong Bridge protest, that brazen protest in Beijing.
Yeah, there you go. Hold on. Hold on. Just like an enormous amount of stuff happening. And I love how, like, if you look over at the these websites like Bloomberg and others talking, stocks drop with China, Fed worries, oil rallies, markets wrap. It's a short version of this. What are you doing? Quit it. I don't want that music. Stop it. Stop it. I told you, I don't understand why you're playing these things. So this is hilarious. So they do this big list. Can I show you guys this? It's pretty funny. Stock markets are in for a wild ride next year as they don't yet reflect the risk of U.S. recession, according to a strategist at Goldman Sachs and Deutsche Bank. Yeah, those folks. All right. Their calls are a warning after equities rallied sharply in the past 2 months on bets that peak inflation will lead to a softening of hawkish central bank policies. Yeah, they don't care. They're already pricing it in. It's other shit. Only big institutional investors are worried about the Fed. Everybody else on fucking Robinhood or in, foreign countries who are investing in it just go, I don't care if it's terrible, it's better than here. And they're all worried about buying, my wife ain't gonna make love to me if I can't buy my kid the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. Key events, Euro Area Economic Conference, Okay, these things. All right. Some of the main moves in markets. Let's take a look at this. This is funny. I just love the fact that there are dudes who get up in the morning, blaze a rail of cocaine, and then peruse lists like this. The S&P fell 1.1% as of New York Times. NASDAQ fell 0.9%. Dow Jones Industrial fell 1%. The MSCI World Index fell 1%. Fucking meaningless. Currencies. The Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index rose 0.4%. Euro fell 0.3%. British Pound fell 0.8%. The Japanese Yen rose 0.2% because it basically can't go anywhere but up. Bitcoin fell 2.4% to 16,007. Look at it. Hold on. 16,179. I remember when it hit 20 and everybody it's going to 1 million per Bitcoin. Ether fell 3.7. Everybody's getting the fuck out of Dodge. It's hilarious. Bonds, 10-year bond treasuries advanced 4 basis points, 3.71. This is all stuff because of the Fed and yada, yada. And cruise prices rose 1% to $77.20 a barrel. Gold futures fell 0.7, but I thought gold was real money. Not just hovering around exactly where it fucking was. By the way, here's crude oil. Remember everybody was shit talking me because I said it was going to be below 80 this fall? And they're like, yeah, I was 120, blah, blah, blah. You're welcome. Shell buys nature. Oh, and one of the other reasons is, where is it? I'll show you guys this. Just so I like to have you guys be in the know. I think it's Exxon, U.S. Let's see what they were. Yeah, Chevron does it. Sorry. 2 days ago. Here you go. You want to know why? Let's see. So I gotta go to the news on it. Let's see. Yeah, so the UAE and OPEC are cutting oil, right? Meanwhile, let's see if I don't subscribe, so I only get to see the top of this one, however. Chevron gets U.S. license to pump oil in Venezuela again. We're easing. That's what the whole meeting about Venezuela before was about. And they're now, it's going to allow them to resume oil pumping from Venezuela because there's levels of bad in the world. And what we used to think is horrible. Now that horrible really showed up, turns out just to be, less than the best. So these companies can go back to working with the Venezuelan government, the Venezuelan people, and pumping oil again, which is going to add more oil to the world supply, which is going to make the drop by the OPEC countries have even less meaning. And there you go. I'm Calandra, destined to foretell the future but never be believed. That's right. I'm the Cassandra of Hal's. Right. We do not need energy just like... we just like using cheap oil from others. We mass export, but not for... long, I guess is what you're saying. The U.S. produces and refines about 18 million barrels of gas, of oil a day. We use 20 to 22. And the reason we use it, by the way, is that it's cheaper from other sources. Not because we have to, but because we can, for growth purposes. Basically, that's the growth index on it. And the U.S. is moving to a point where we're trying to eliminate the consumer use of oil and gas and use it just for industrial purposes and have renewables cover the need for individuals. Because humans don't use a lot of energy, quite frankly. We just, it's the volume of humans that make up for it. And if you can transition the humans that are just driving places, turning on lights in their homes and that kind of stuff, you can mute that effect as much as possible. Yes, the U.S. chose less evil. That's exactly right, Zombie Beaver. Exactly. If you can minimize the amount of energy people has, either by, like I have solar panels on my house, is solar at a point where it can replace energy plants? Not yet. But if you use mass solar panels in place on top of houses across a large enough swath, how much those houses drain will have the effect of, adding another electrical plant to your output quality and level. So that's the goal. 76 in the USA is Saudi refined, Texas, Shell 76 in the USA is Saudi gas refined in Texas, right? Many small feet equals one large footprint. That's exactly right. I mean, think about all the toilets in your city and how often they flush about the same time every day. There you go. Sorry, my stomach is growling. I didn't have breakfast this morning. It was up to the right, and this was 100 years previous. We still have coal-fired ships and coal-fired locomotives because they don't believe in progression. It would be political wedge issue, technology advancement. That's largely true, especially because they would be making most of their money in coal-fired plants or in wood or whatever the previous one was, and they would insist on sticking to it because it's this new untried technology, right? Thank you for reminding everybody, Andrea. The Venmo is right there. If you want to buy a Black Friday, Cyber Monday gift or a Giving Tuesday gift to help the show, you can become a patron for the year, or you can send a little love that way. Doesn't hurt. $1. If everybody who showed up in the chat gave a single dollar once a week, it would game change our ability to do the show. That's it. Again, I would rather have a bunch of small footprints making a giant footprint. The other way. Thank you, Just Another Human, for being a patron. Yes, send some scratch. Never scratch. What did I tell you? Don't scratch. Never scratch. There we go. And this is fun. Hold on. I just think this is funny. This is the things you don't think about when you think of the petroleum market. Aviation lubricants market size predicted to increase at a positive CAGR. ExxonMobil Corporation, Aerospace Lubricants, and Chemours, the Chimera virus company. That's funny. Big movements in the lube market. Thank you, Steve, for being a Patreon supporter. Bless you. Patreons assemble. Ah. Okay. And then we're almost to the end of the show. Yeah, we got like 7 minutes left. If you guys can hang, that's fun. I'm also on Rumble currently, just to irritate the right wing. That's good. If you have a Rumble account, God help you. Feel free to boost and annoy people with it. I like it. Let's see. Let's go to the channel and see if it's working. One person is watching there now, and I think it's me. It said 6 views. But it's the morning show. What do I expect? Just trying to do this. I'm a Zoltar member. Excellent. A Ficus fix. $4 a month pay for my Choco stash. Yeah, that's right. Buy me a coffee a week. That's the easy part. Just take the price of a coffee. If you would sit with me and buy me a coffee, that's how you do it. That's a great way to support the show. It's low impact. I don't like asking, and I certainly don't like asking from people who can't spare it. So if you can, awesome, have fun. But if you can't at all, I don't like. That's probably the primary reason why I'm terrible at asking for people to, join Patreon or those kind of things, is because I don't want the people who can't afford it to feel bad. You know what I mean? If you can't afford to help, or you can't, it's too much, and you're just here because you need the stress relief, I don't want to add to your stress. So there you go. Good Lord. Sorry. Something just came up in Telegram that I can't show you because it's horrifying and awful. But there you go. Let me. Can I show you one thing though that's pretty funny? This is from Lynn Wood's Telegram channel. Lynn Wood, who was famously the President Donald Trump's lawyer at one point. Vernon Unsworth versus Elon Musk. Nicholas Sandman, Kyle Rittenhouse. Question: how do you spell psyops? Answer: CIA. I lived and learned. Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse, Nicholas Sandman, the kid, who was standing there, getting the drum beat in his face, and this pushback from Elon Musk. I'm not for sure who Vernon Unsworth is. But apparently Linwood thinks that's all a psyop, that those people are all CIA people and whatever. I mean, once you start down that road, I guess, where the fuck do you go, right? Once you get into the conspiracy world, there's no up. You just have to dig deeper. I don't know what it's supposed to mean, Kelly. Thank you, Sierra Maid 1. Bless you. Coffee and whiskey, right. 2.2 million residents of Houston, boiling water, go Republicans. Oh, yeah. So, well, they want an isolated system away from everything else that works. Holy smokes. Yeah. Off the edge of the flat earth. Is that the other place they can go? I guess so. Hold on one second. I'm going to show you something else that you can only see here. Let's see. Whoops. I got to make sure this is... There's some things, like I said, I've shown you... where if I scroll past it, you'll see. I have to be careful what I show on screen with some of this stuff because it will get me kicked off the air. So I can't show. I have to maybe download to get around it. That's so weird. Some of these things also take a long time to load because I might have to save them for the afternoon. Huh? Does anybody know what the hell they're talking about? This is the European Organization for Nuclear Research announced the discovery of a large number of hadron colliders, which had previously been planned due to the risk of energy shortages. Oh, so they started working on them and nobody realized they were existing? That's a very weird sentence. I guess they found the plans for them. Yeah, here you go. Hold on. Let's go see if I can rotate this through. So this is the... Oop, that's a hit. War in Ukraine right now. One of the ways that the Ukrainians found that they could fight and cut through Russian lines and why they've had a lot of the success they've had. This will cycle back and I'll show you. See that guy? On these ATVs, watch this little thing pop up and this little thing open and then it'll go foop. There you go. Boing. Yeah. And then they just bug the fuck out. Hold on one second. There was one other thing I was... Oh, so... hold on. All right. Hold on. Let me see this. Okay, I gotta start this over again. Okay, so check this out real quick. This is where the elites sacrifice kids. This is a QAnon video. Watch this. You open this door and then you open this door and you walk down these stairs and see if you guys can see where the edit is. They turn all the way around to pass the white wall and then they're suddenly in a theater. This is where the elites sit amongst the red and then I guess somebody's fixing the lights that day. It's just an elite. No one goes to this. This is where they sacrifice. By the way, this is basically how you take an attic shot that somebody designed or like a basement shot. Like, oh, we have this thing in this nice old house that goes to a basement. And then you walk down it and then you do a turnaround. You just turn like that. And then you make the cut on where the fuck did that go? You just walked straight into the wall that was to your back. This is that QAnon post. That's your house? Nice. Oh my God. These fuckers are full of this shit. Apparently, Joel Osteen is a Freemason because of the hand gestures he makes. Because he does this when he talks, and he does this when he talks, and he does this when he talks, and he does this when he talks, like everybody who talks for a living. By the way, as a Freemason, Joel Osteen is not a Freemason. Just letting you know. I mean, he may have joined recently, but I don't think so. And none of what his shit is about has anything to do with Freemasonry. And here's oh God, one second. Let me show you real quick. Yeah, not at my lodge. Here you go. Here's a Russian driver. What could possibly go wrong? Look at that. It's trying to miss this other one and hits oh, yikes. That's why I have to look around when I'm scrolling through these things, because a lot of them are way worse. Some of them are just cute. Like, kind of one of these, like, watch this. It'll reset. Give me a second. This guy stopped. I don't know, like they all get out and there's this car turned over, so they get over and look. But oh my goodness, what's happening there? When it restarts, you'll see why it's so weird. So here's this person. He just drives off. Just drives here, drives up the embankment, and rolls over. Not even going particularly fast. Just flop. Just, I don't know what the fuck. I get a grand gesture for you there, absolutely. The No Homers Club, right? Now, this morning, Steph read one of Trump's Truth Social tweets, or his statements. And what people don't know is that you can actually there's a Donald Trump Telegram channel that you can get what he says on there without giving them the gift of traffic. Supposedly, a number of prosecutors in the Manhattan DA's office quit their jobs because they thought I was being treated so badly. The case was not fair or good, especially in light of the record-setting violent crime taking place in New York City, which the office is unable to prosecute. Too much time on Trump. No such fringe benefit case has ever been brought in the USA. Legal experts say this case should be dismissed. No findings or wrongdoings against Trump companies. Thank you. It's a dipshit. That's what I was saying, like, about him having, just teener thumbs. Just like, This week, Kanye West called me to have dinner at Mar-a-Lago. Shortly thereafter, he unexpectedly showed up with 3 of his friends, whom I knew nothing about. We had dinner on Tuesday evening with many members present on the back patio. The dinner was quick and uneventful. Then they left for the airport. It was 2 hours. When a Republican judge or justice... Okay, where's the other part? Yeah. Man who accidentally left 300,000 gets lecture on gun... All right, whatever. He does a lot of these memes that he reports. He just like reposts them. I'll have to look for. Yeah, it's such a baby. It's hilarious. I'll have to look for the one like I don't even know this fucking dude. Who the fuck is Nick Fuentes? I don't know. Yeah, I'll find it because he's in there somewhere. Anyways, we'll talk about... I'm already over time anyways, and I got to go because I've got a big honeydew list, and I got to start building some things. I'm going to be working in the garage, and until the next show. So I will see you guys this afternoon at 3 o'clock when we will look at there'll be a lot of surprises, but at the very least, we will get to enjoy Mike Lindell officially launching his planned attack on the RNC to get rid of the darn rhinos and replace them with a true Republican. And also, remember, don't drink Diet Coke. It's bad for you. If you're ever presented with a choice that's the lesser of two evils, choose less evil and take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And I will see you guys this afternoon. Thanks so much. Okay, Hal the Sloth, how did you know that my girlfriend bought me a toy sloth and that my cat has been playing with it? Dun, dun, dun. Go, House Park, go. Okay, I'll see you later. Much love. Take care of yourself. Bye. Love you guys. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe on Twitch. Twitch.tv/HouseParks. I'm terrible at this.